All right, let's look at the S&P 500 for our weekly watch list video. As I said, coming into this week, I did not have anything on watch because I just didn't like the price action. I couldn't really tell what was going on, but now I'm starting to kind of like what I'm seeing. So we're gonna start on the lower time frame and then work our way out to the higher time frame, and we're only gonna focus on SPY going to tomorrow and probably this week specifically, unless something gets a really crazy setup. So basically right here, what you got is this kind of trend line that's been tested 3 times today, and it's probably more than likely going to break. And so if that does break, then you're most likely going to get a move up to the next resistance point, which is going to be 445. So this is the first thing that I'll be looking for tomorrow. So what that means, tomorrow's Tuesday. So what that means is this. So let's look at this resistance pivot point, this pivot area that bulls gapped above. They gapped above it, and then they pulled back and retested and held it. So what that's telling me is that bulls have momentum because they just reclaimed a pivot point. Now we work our way out to the higher time frame and we say, well, dang, look at this head and shoulder setup. That means SPY is going down. We don't care about none of that. We don't care, because this pivot could easily be reclaimed, just like how they just did on the lower time frame. Bulls, I mean. So you got this resistance point that should have held as support, but then it failed. You did get one rejection here, but that does not mean it's going to hold for a full reversal. Bulls could come through, reclaim 444 tomorrow, and send this ripping higher for a few days, maybe a couple weeks, who knows. But I do believe if you reclaim 444, then you're going to get 448, and then this area right here, 451. You hold above 450, then you got to start thinking this gap fills. Price wants to move to the next low volume area. That's this gap right here, as long as bulls can hold this break. If you look at SPY futures, we talked about this option where coming into this week, we talked about this being a possibility, but I literally did not even know whether it was going to work or not. Like, I had no reason to go putting, real money on that. It was just an analysis, just an option. Now that we see we have a potential double bottom type setup, these are the 2 points that you want to start targeting. But you must first reclaim this pivot point that we just talked about on SPY. Like I said, you see you did have a rejection there before, but doesn't mean you're going to get a full-blown reversal. But if you can come and hold above that, then you can make your way higher and look out for a breakout. So if we go down to the lower time frame, you can kind of see it a little bit better, and you can see that resistance, that 442 area, 441.40, that SPY had reclaimed today. You can see it on the futures where they reclaimed it, and you can see how these are your next 2 major resistance points. So we'll have that on watch. That is probably about all I care about coming into or this week, really. Just figuring out what the next leg is for SPY. And so if you do get that, like I said, with SPY, you will negate this head and shoulders type setup where a lot of people are short right up in here at that right shoulder, expecting for a flush down, because this would be the beginning of the head and shoulders. So they're expecting to move down here to 4,200. But if you negate that, I think you can get a nice squeeze, and this could really rip back to highs. But that's longer term thinking. That probably wouldn't all happen this week, maybe in a couple weeks. But this week, I do believe if you negate that head and shoulders look, first and foremost, you can get back up here. You can get here, and then I think you can make your way up to here this week even, or early next week for this part. But I do believe these other two targets are very achievable this week, as long as bulls push to negate that head and shoulder setup. So yeah, I think this looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Tomorrow is really gonna decide everything, either tomorrow or Wednesday. So I mean, we'll see what happens. Obviously, if we have to change up our analysis, then we will. I believe that if bulls lose support on the lower time frame, which is right up in here at about 4,000, or I'm sorry, 4,400, then you're probably gonna get a pretty decisive move back lower. So that's the bearish outlook, and we are prepared for either or. But right now, I do believe that we're gonna get a bullish break, and unless that bullish break this looks pretty strong to test something. And it's not the trend line that I care about. Remember that. This is just a visual for people who need help. But to test an area so many times and fail to flush through, and then to test a resistance point so many times without a hard rejection, we have to lean bullish, and that's going to push us up to that next point, 445. So as long as we can catch this somewhere around 443.50, 444 tomorrow, we can catch ourselves a really, really nice move up to these 445.30 highs. So that's what is getting us to lean bullish. I'm really liking this setup, and I really hope it holds into tomorrow. I hope it doesn't gap too crazy on us. So that's pretty much what I'll be looking out for. And like I said, if you do get a true breakout, then this is the next level. You can target 448 area. I remember I shorted all of that. That was a really good trade. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking for, man. And like with the trend line on futures, if you like trend lines, then basically just understand that this trend line right here, if you break through that, then basically what you're saying is you're reclaiming this. You feel me? That's the critical area to watch. That's your critical point. So it's not really the trend line itself. The trend line is helping you find an important point to watch. So this is my analysis going into tomorrow. And I do think it could be good for a few days. I think we get some bullish price action for a few days until 4,400 fails. So I'll move this down to 4,400 now. And if that alert goes off, then I know I need to start leaning bearish or very cautiously bullish. Because if 4,400 fails, then you're probably likely, like I said, to get some downside, come back and test this support area. If this support area does fail, then we can start talking about more downside. But until then, as long as 4,400 is holding, we're looking to knock out these resistance points and potentially even make our way back higher up to 45.30 area. So that's everything. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and go to my Instagram to join my stock mentorship program. And I do videos like this at least once a week for the group. This is the first one coming out for the group. Just wasn't really liking too much coming into this week, but I do private videos like this for the group 1 to 3 times a week. You get a weekly watch list video coming into the new week, and then you get a midweek watch list if something looks really good, and then you probably get it like a fun Friday or end of the week watch list video, as well as educational videos. Like if I see something worth talking about, like I could do a video on pivot point that we saw in the lower time frame today for SPY, just to talk about pivots. So, like I said, man, like and subscribe, turn on notifications. I'll catch you guys later.